but I at least wanted to get a feel for the top 3 quarterbacks. And Caleb Williams, in my mind, he's clearly number 1 in a tier by himself. Clearly the best guy, a franchise guy, no matter what you think about him off the field, stuff like that. That'll have to be checked out. But in terms of his play, he's unbelievable. He really is. To me, Jaden Daniels is clearly by himself in tier 2. Certainly things that you have to look at with his size, whether he wants to play outdoors in the Northeast, like all that stuff, you have to take that stuff into consideration. But in terms of his ability from the pocket to deliver the football, it's elite down the field. I wouldn't say he's an elite passer or anything like that. To me, he's more talented than Lamar Jackson was coming out. His running ability is unbelievable. So he's elite throwing the ball down the field. He needs some development as far as a quarterback playing within the scheme and throwing in the ball in the middle of the field, intermediate, all that stuff. But in terms of his ability in the pocket to deliver the ball down the field and his running ability, it's elite. And to me, it would be a guy that I would take in the top 3 picks. Now, after that is the big question. And up until this moment, the most I really saw of Drake Maye was highlight film stuff. And if you watch the highlight films, you're like, holy crap, this guy is possibly Josh Allen, that type of talent. But I watched 3 games of him, the coach's film. Man, there are a lot of concerns. Now, I don't know what went on at UNC last year, and apparently word on the street is his 2022 film is really good. I haven't gotten there yet. The draft is in April. I'll get to it in April. I'll do more of a deep dive in April. But when I came away from it, and I have heard some of the chatter from Chris Sims, Dan Orlovsky, Greg Cosell, league sources about how, there's a lot that this guy has to work on and he might have to sit. After watching his film, there's no doubt in my mind that he has to sit at least 1 year, if not multiple years. His footwork's terrible. His motion needs work. He drifts in the pocket. He's not elevated in terms of anticipation, recognizing coverages, recognizing how to attack defenses. Again, he's very young. He's 21 years old. So that'll come in time. To me, and I'm not saying these guys are the same players. They're not. But to me, and I went back and I looked at my evaluation when I was at Sports Illustrated, he reminds me a lot of Blake Bortles coming out. Very talented. Physically, Blake Bortles was bigger, thicker, but similar type of guys, but very unrefined. And basically my draft evaluation of Blake Bortles was he has to sit. And now, so what do you do with that guy? Where do you draft that guy? And that's the question I think the Patriots have to be asking. If you think he's going to be a guy in a year, do you still draft him at 3? Could it take 2 years? Orlovsky says the Jordan Love plan, or even you could say the Aaron Rodgers plan, which, is akin to Elliott Wolf and what he has seen with the Packers. Yeah, the difference is those guys were late round, first round picks. So you could sort of do anything you want. Remember, Blake Bortles, the Jaguars drafted Blake Bortles at 3, and people were stunned that happened. But also remember, Dave Caldwell and Gus Bradley, the GM and the head coach at the time of the Jaguars, both of them came out and said Blake Bortles is sitting for his first year, at least. That is the plan. That's what we're going to do. We have Chad Henne as the bridge guy. That's what we're going to do. Guess what happened? They start off 0-3. They put Blake Bortles in. He doesn't have a great year. They're 3-11. Now, he does go to a point in a run-based offense, a defensive-based team, where they got to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots, in a game they probably should have won. However, because Blake Bortles never got those things figured out, those things corrected with his footwork, with his vision, understanding of the game, they rushed him into it. He never got to that possibly elite level that he could get to. And he was out of the league after 6 years. And so, to me, I see Drake Maye very similar. It all depends on what your philosophy is. Are you okay drafting a guy at 3 and absolutely putting him in a straitjacket and not playing him for a year? Are you okay with that? Okay, fine. You might think about doing that. If you're not, I don't know how you can draft Drake Maye at 3. And you have to avoid the Bortles thing. But I see them very similar where they were. And it'll be very interesting to see how teams, including the Patriots, decide on what to do with them.
Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, You can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Use the code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
He is so polarizing. You hear people that are saying the same things that you're saying, Greg. Others love the projection, love the talent, believe he's going to be.
I love the talent.
Yeah, a top 8 quarterback in the league. If you can figure that footwork out and the drifting out and all those things that you brought up, the elongated motion from time to time when he throws the football. Very polarizing guy. I said earlier, I'm okay with sitting him for a year if that's what you've got to do. If you think that he can be that guy, I couldn't care less. Like 2024, how many games you're going to win anyway? If you're telling me in 2025 he's going to be ready after some work, then I'm in on that. I will say this in closing. All the reports about Maye during the combine week smelled a little fishy to me. It was almost too much. The Patriots talking about him, especially the Patriots stuff. And I just wonder if the Patriots are trying to sell people on Drake Maye because they really want Jaden Daniels, or they're trying to pump Drake Maye's tires because they want to trade that third pick if Maye is the one that falls to them at 3. It just felt like there was a little bit too much about, oh man, Drake Maye, he won the room. He was incredibly impressive. I don't know how you can't draft him at 3. It felt like it was a little bit too much pomp and circumstance behind him. We'll see. You got a lot of the process left to get through, of course, as we always say.